Ever heard of a modern jumbo jet just vanishing? Not in a movie, but in real life. This is the story of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, perhaps the greatest aviation mystery of our time. It all began on March 8, 2014. The state-of-the-art Boeing 777, carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members, took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, on a routine overnight flight to Beijing, China. Everything seemed normal. The weather was clear. The crew was experienced. Just under an hour into the flight, as the plane prepared to cross from Malaysian into Vietnamese airspace over the South China Sea, the co-pilot, Farid Hamid, radioed a final calm message to Malaysian air traffic control. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Those were the last words ever heard from the cockpit. Moments later, MH370 disappeared from civilian radar screens. It was gone. Air traffic controllers in Vietnam never made contact. Panic began to set in. Where was a plane carrying 239 people? Did it crash? Was it hijacked? No distress calls were made. No mayday signals were sent. It was as if it had simply been plucked from the sky. But the story gets much stranger. While civilian radar lost the plane, military radar tells a different tale. Primary radar, which doesn't rely on a plane's transponder, tracked an unidentified aircraft, making a sharp, deliberate turn back to the west, flying across the Malay Peninsula. This was not a flight path consistent with a catastrophic failure. This was a controlled maneuver. The aircraft then turned again, this time south, and flew out over the vast, empty expanse of the Indian Ocean. Even more bizarrely, the plane's satellite communication system, or SATCOM, continued to automatically ping a satellite in orbit for over 6 hours after it vanished from radar. These hourly handshakes were like a faint digital heartbeat, telling investigators that the plane was still powered up and flying, long after it should have landed in Beijing. But these pings only gave a general idea of the plane's distance from the satellite, not its precise location. They created two massive arcs across the globe, one to the north, over Central Asia, and one to the south, over the Indian Ocean. So, what happened in the cockpit? The key piece of the puzzle is the transponder. This device broadcasts the plane's identity, altitude, and speed to air traffic control. On MH370, it was switched off, seemingly by hand, just as the plane was at the handover point between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace. This deliberate act, combined with the controlled turns, points away from a simple accident and towards human intervention. The plane was effectively made invisible to civilian air traffic control, flying through a radar gap where it wouldn't be easily seen. The pings were the only clue investigators had. After ruling out the northern arc due to the lack of any radar sightings from the many countries, it would have overflown the search focused on the southern arc, an immense remote and incredibly deep section of the southern Indian Ocean. This triggered one of the largest and most expensive search efforts in history. For years, ships from Australia, China, and Malaysia scoured a massive underwater area, using sonar and autonomous underwater vehicles to search the seabed, which in some places is over 4 kilometers deep. It was a painstaking search, like looking for a needle in a haystack the size of a country. Despite this monumental effort, the main wreckage of the plane was never found. The search was officially called off in January 2017, leaving families and the world without answers. But that doesn't mean no trace of the plane was ever discovered. Starting in July 2015, pieces of debris began washing up on coastlines, thousands of kilometers away from the search area. The first piece, a part of the wing called a flaperon, was found on Reunion Island off the coast of Africa. Serial numbers confirmed it was from MH370. Over the next few years, more than 20 other pieces, including parts of the wing, cabin interior, and tail, were found on the shores of Mozambique, Tanzania, Madagascar, and South Africa. These discoveries proved to things beyond any doubt. First, MH370 did end its journey in the southern Indian Ocean. Second, the plane broke apart on impact with the water. The drift patterns of the debris helped oceanographers refine the potential crash zone. But the ocean is a vast and chaotic place, and pinpointing the exact location from a few scattered pieces is nearly impossible. So, where does that leave us? with a lot of theories, but no concrete answers. One theory is a mass murder-suicide by one of the pilots. The captain, Zahare Ahmad Shah, was a highly respected senior pilot. Some investigators have pointed to a flight simulator he had at home, on which he had plotted a course similar to MH370's final flight path into the southern Indian Ocean. However, his family and friends vehemently deny he was capable of such an act, describing him as a kind and stable family man. No motive has ever been established. Another theory is a hijacking, but by whom and for what purpose? No group has ever claimed responsibility, and if it was a hijacking, why fly the plane to one of the most remote places on Earth until it ran out of fuel? It doesn't fit the typical pattern of a terrorist plot. What about a catastrophic event on board that incapacitated the crew? A fire in the cargo hold or an explosive decompression could have been possible. In this scenario, perhaps a fire knocked out communications, and the crew, before being overcome, managed to turn the plane back towards the nearest suitable airport. The plane might have then flown on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. This theory explains the turn, but it struggles to account for why the transponder was manually switched off and why no distress call was made. Then there are more fringe theories involving stowaways, cyber hijacking, or even the plane being shot down. But with no wreckage and no black boxers, there is simply no evidence to support any of them. The black boxes, the cockpit voice recorder, and the flight data recorder are the key. They hold the definitive answers to what happened in the final hours of Flight 3, are designed to withstand immense pressure and emit a locator beacon for at least 30 days after a crash. But their batteries have long since died, and they now lie silent somewhere on the dark ocean floor. In 2018, a private American company called Ocean Infinity launched a new, no-find, no-fee search. Using a fleet of advanced autonomous underwater drones, they searched another massive area of the seabed, slightly north of the original search zone, based on updated drift analysis. Hopes were high, but after 90 days, that search also ended without success. For the families of the 239 people on board, the lack of answers is an ongoing agony. They are caught in a painful limbo, unable to fully grieve without knowing what happened to their loved ones. They continue to advocate for the search to resume, holding on to hope that one day, new technology or a new piece of information will finally lead to the discovery of the plane. MH370 has changed aviation forever. It exposed vulnerabilities in how we track aircraft over remote oceanic areas. In response, new regulations are being implemented, requiring planes to report their position more frequently and have flight recorders that can be ejected or transmit data in real time before a crash. But even with these changes, the fundamental mystery remains. How, in an age of constant connectivity, GPS, and satellite surveillance, could a 200-foot-long airliner simply vanish? The story of MH370 is a humbling reminder that despite all our technology, our planet still has secrets, and the ocean is a powerful force that can swallow even our greatest creations whole. The fate of the 239 souls on board remains the most profound and unsettling aviation mystery of the 21st century. A ghost flight that continues to haunt the world. What do you think really happened to MH370? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story as captivating as I do, please give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Thanks for watching.